everybody, my name is Gina Myers and I'm doing my second informative speech on hair coloring. I'm a hairstylist of 15 years and it is one of my passions. I absolutely love working with hair color. I cut hair as well, all that other fun stuff, but above all, hair coloring is my passion. I apologize, I do not have an audience. It was very hard for me to collect an audience for this speech this week. So my classmates, you guys are my audience, and here goes. So this speech is not just going to be specifically about hair coloring. There's many different aspects of hair coloring. All different types of hair color, different types of techniques. There's many challenges along with doing hair. So I really want everybody to kind of understand that it's not just about changing the color of your hair. It goes on to showing one's own personality, and you can do that with the way that you change your appearance, and you can show off just a little bit of your personality through that. And that is what is one of the fun things about hair coloring. So one of the main other points is a box color as opposed to professional color. So when you go to the beauty supply, or you're just even walking through the beauty aisle at a supermarket, and you see those box colors and you think, I kind of want to change my hair. Well, it's not that simple. You can't just, depending on your own color and the color that you like, somebody with dark hair that's almost black cannot pick a blonde hair color and just get that color that's on the color of the box. Red colors, same thing. Somebody that has dark hair cannot just go and buy a box color, put it on their hair, and just expect to have this beautiful red color. So this is going into a lot of the background information that I will be getting to shortly about the chemistry of hair color and why there's a difference between professional hair color and box color. So there are several different kinds of hair color. There's temporary hair color, there's semi-permanent hair color, and permanent hair color. Temporary hair color would be your fashion shades, something that is not meant to last in the hair very long. Anybody that could do purple, blue, orange, red, like a funky bright red, pink, anything that isn't a normal hair color would be more your fashion shades. These can go in the hair, and the reason why they're temporary is because after several washes they just tend to kind of come on out of the hair. Not completely, it is a direct dye, so there's a lot of also technique involved in doing these colors, which I will get into again in a little bit. There's semi-permanent hair color. Semi-permanent hair color is a little bit stronger than temporary. There are shampoos that you can use to help hold your hair color in, using cool water. Again, part of the chemistry part that a lot of people mistake when it comes to doing your own color or anything with your hair color. There's always a regimen that you should follow if you want to maintain keeping your color and vibrant and for as long as you can. So semi-permanent hair color would be if you don't have any gray hair, or you have a little bit of gray hair and you just kind of want to put something on your hair to make it a little bit more shiny or to enhance your hair color. Semi-permanent hair color would be good for that. There are different levels of developers that are involved between semi-permanent color and permanent color, which is the next one I'm going to talk about. Permanent hair color is what most people use for gray hair. To cover gray hair, you need a higher level of developer, which is a peroxide mixed in with your color. So most people who are not really aware of the chemistry of color might think permanent color, that means that it's going to last in my hair a lot longer than if you were to put semi-permanent in. That is not technically how it works. When you're using semi-permanent hair color and permanent hair color, both do last in the hair fairly long. It's just the permanent hair color makes more stronger coverage than semi-permanent hair color. So that goes on to my next point and the challenges. There are many different challenges when it comes to hair color. A lot more challenges than one might think. Like I said, most people just see hair color and think they can just put something on their head and come up with that. So many of the challenges come in with whether or not what you're dealing with, what the client wants, as opposed to what the actual results you can achieve. So when I have a client sit in my chair and I have somebody say to me, and let's say they have dark brown hair and they want to be blonde, and I understand that they want this really light hair color, but they may not, it's a process. You may not be able to get that result that day. There's a lot of stress on the hair, which goes into achieving them lighter colors on dark hair. When you have darker hair and you want to lighten it, there's a process which is called, a lot of people might know it as stripping the hair or decolorization. So when you have a darker hair and you want to go to a lighter color, or you want to do a funky color like purple or blue, a bright red or orange, then you would need to go through a decolorization process to strip out the color in your hair. Very involved, very, very extensive, expensive process. So for a hairstylist, when somebody wants something like that and they have dark hair and want to go to something that extreme, it is a process. I personally enjoy challenges like that because there's an artistry and no one ever comes up with the same color. Not generally. It all depends on your natural color, whether or not you have color in your hair with the desired result. And that's another huge, huge thing to consider when you are doing something with hair color. The artistry involved. When it comes to hair color, there's several different types of processes. There are highlights, which you can go, there's an endless amount of creations you can do with highlights. Highlights basically are when you add a lighter color and a darker hair. Then there's your single process color, which is just taking your hair and making it a different color. And then there's also, as I mentioned earlier, the stripping of the hair or decolorization, and that would be if somebody had dark hair and wanted to go lighter. So there's an endless amount of things that you can do. You can color just the tips of your hair, any type of desired effect. There's so many different types of styles that come out all the time. Stars online and pictures. I'm constantly getting stuff like that of people saying, I like this, I have this, how can I do this? So I always try to help my client and discuss with them and try to go about the easiest way, because every time you color somebody's hair and you're going from a darker color to a lighter color, you're taking out a lot of nutrients in the hair, which then in return cause the hair to get more dry and damaged. So that is a wrap up of the chemistry, the artistry, and just your basic generalization of hair color. So one thing that I really also want to point out before I end my speech is that no matter what, the best part of hair color is that you can always fix it. It's not like coloring somebody, when you color somebody's hair and it doesn't come out right, there are guidelines and there's a basis of rules and ways that you can fix somebody's color. If you cut someone's hair and they have really long hair and they want it medium and you cut it short, or you take them, the hair has to grow back. It's not an easy fix, and that's a lot more traumatizing for a client than when their hair color comes out wrong and you need to fix it. It might appear to be to the client that, oh my gosh, my color is totally wrong, this isn't what I wanted, but there is always, always, always a fix for your hair color, as opposed to when you cut their hair too short and they wanted it long. You cannot tape it back on. So that is definitely something that I wanted to point out. There is a guideline for hair color, and if somebody comes out with unwanted red in their hair, there's other undertones, other ketones that could take out and neutralize those colors to diffuse any unwanted tones. Somebody comes up with too light of hair, you can always use colors to diffuse it, tone it down, make it more of a more natural looking color. Even with the fashion shades, certain level of color that they want. If it didn't come out strong enough or bright enough, there's always, always, always a way to fix it. So anybody who has had an issue with their hair color in the past, just no matter what, just know that it can be corrected. So the best part of my job that I absolutely love is the expression on people's faces, and knowing that you could have taken somebody's day, that they were having a horrible, horrible day, and you're making this person extremely happy and self-confident just by changing their hair color and enhancing their hair color, whether it be dramatic or subtle. Either way is fun for me, but it can make such a difference in somebody's lives. I've had some people sit in my chair and they come in and they have this horrible, horrible day, and they have all these personal issues going on and they just want to feel better about themselves. So being able to take that person and listen to their problems and just spin them around in the chair and let them see their hair when I'm done after it's been blown dry, and everything that they wanted and were hoping to accomplish was achieved just by simply changing one thing with their physical appearance. It is the most rewarding feeling in the world to be able to do that for somebody. Those smiles, they're just incredibly amazing. And as difficult it can be for them people that do sit in your chair and get very upset, and it can be very emotionally stressful when you have somebody that doesn't like their hair, even them people, when you correct it and you make it okay, it's just extremely rewarding. There is never ever an all-knowing to hair color. It's an ongoing, all learning process, and no matter what, you never know everything. It's trial and error, and it's all just going about learning things as you go. Although obviously you have to have the background to know the technical ways to do certain techniques and to know how to achieve specific results with your hair. But generally, you're never going to know everything, and they're always coming out with new fashions, and trends are always changing. So it's very, very fun in the way that it never gets boring. There's always something to learn in this field. So that's the end of my speech. I apologize I don't have any audience here to ask any questions, but I hope that everybody listening to this speech can walk away and kind of have a little bit of a better understanding to all of the information that I just gave out about different hair coloring. And I advise everybody to not go with that box color, because it does not come out the way that you want it all the time. So you might want to always, if you're thinking about going with that box color, just think about it. Even I have clients that call me and ask me and say, hey, I'm thinking about coloring my hair. I'm looking at this box. What color do you think I should go with? I can kind of at least guide them in the way, instead of having them just take that color and ending up with a really horrible hair color that is going to be an expensive amount of money to fix just to get them to whatever color that they wanted. So if you think that you're going the cheaper way by getting a box, just think about it and consult your stylist before you go and do it, and maybe just have a little bit more idea that there's a lot more involved in coloring your hair than it is just seeing that box and wanting that specific shade. So have a good night, and thank you for listening.